Hope you're having a great morning so far. And now we're going to speak about something that actually saddens me a little bit. This morning joining me is Professor Judith Gobin, who is the board chairperson of the Wright Nature Center. We are going to speak about the recent closure. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Carrie, and thank you very much to TTT for having me.
And thank you for being with us this morning. So let's speak about the Wright Nature Center and the recent closure. I know COVID-19 has posed so many challenges for so many industries, and well, Wright wasn't spared from it as well. Tell us about the decision to close the center.
Carrie, as you can imagine, it's not been an easy one. It's a decision that was made by the Board of Management together with our trustees. We have about a 21 members on a board, about half of which are non-local, rather dominated by local board members and 8 non-local board members. We are a voluntary board, and we are guided by our 3 trustees who are eminent persons, and they are Senior Counsel Fayed Hussain, Akila Jaramogi, who everyone knows is an expert, very experienced conservation biologist and scientist, and Mr. Ruben McSween, who is our financial advisor. A very difficult decision, but it was purely a business decision that was made from an economic point of view. Just a reminder, though, that the Wright Nature Center is actually a conservation, it's a land trust. Now, most people are familiar with Wright Nature Center, and of course the wonderful veranda, the hummingbirds coming to relax and look at the hummingbirds and all the other birds, over 260 species of birds, and the experience, the wonderful experience, relaxing and so on the veranda. And some locals, as well as, of course, a lot of most of our business comes from foreign visitors, foreign bird watchers. But the trust really, the objective, the objective of the trust is to conserve the forest really surrounding the nature center in perpetuity, basically. Yeah. And that means protection of the wildlife habitat, protection of the watershed area, and to keep the forest cover, basically. But most local people are associate the Wright Nature Center Trust with our Eco-Lodge business, which is the business where the bird watchers would come and overnight. It's a guest house business. Yep. And unfortunately, that with COVID and a number of other things have really directly affected the business. So that's really a difficult one for us.
Yeah, you know, the nature of the business itself is one which requires people to gather together and you know, to congregate, you know, even for bird watching and enjoying the environment and enjoying the lodge itself. And again, in these challenging times, well, that can't happen. Are there plans for the future of the property, though?
Well, you know, Carrie, I just want to make the point that it's actually not just the social distancing, because we've had a lot of inquiries about, oh, you know, could we not do it with social distancing and so on. But we have to bear in mind, and it's really important that trainees understand this business, the way we, the board members, inherited it. It's a model that was based on the business of really foreign income, foreign bird watchers coming to Trinidad and Tobago. So we want to have a rethink about the model that we have inherited. The Wright Nature Center opened its doors in 1967, and it has actually been a foreign income earner for the country, for Trinidad and Tobago. We are very, very proud to say that. But of course, with COVID, it means no visitors. So it's not really just the issue of let's work with something where we can social distance. That's not going to work because our borders are closed. Our borders have been closed since March, and that means there has been no visitors to the Wright Nature Center from as of March last year, and we're going almost into February, March, and therefore that means a year. So it's been a very difficult one. We also have no direct subvention from government. It's a trust, and really the eco-lodge activities, which was really one element of the trust's activities, let's say, which was running this eco-lodge. That's really the business that allowed the center to continue, and for us to continue our business as such. Now, just to clarify, though, that although the Eco-Lodge business is closed, the work of the trust must continue.
Right.
The trust operates under a trust deed that is really overseen by our 3 trustees, and the business of the trust must continue. And again, that's about conservation, protection of the wildlife habitats and the watershed, protection of forest cover, and so on.
All right. Well, you said something very important earlier about the model of the business being one which depends heavily upon foreign visitors, visitors from different countries. Now, do you see a future in changing the marketing strategy for it to invite and for domestics to be involved in, benefiting from the Eco Lodge, from the trust, and from, becoming open to things like bird watching and those things right here in Trinidad and Tobago?
Absolutely, Carrie. The whole business about a trust, and I'm sure a lot of trainees go abroad and they visit various conservation national parks and so on. It's always core to it is conservation and education and awareness. And that's really what it's meant to do. Of course, at the wonderful Spring Hill Estate and all our other lands, bird watching has been prime to our facilities and to our lands. And we are extremely pleased about it. Over 260 species of birds, and of course, the hummingbirds that one can see from the veranda. So yes, we have to rethink, and we really need to reevaluate how we move forward. What we inherited from all the way back in 1967 was a model where our foreign visitors would come in for the winter, or what's our high season, and they would stay from November until about March, April. And the income that was brought in from that sort of 5 or 6 months was what sustained the lodge business, the Eco Lodge, for the next 6 months. So really it was operating on a model that was, bringing in the income during this high season. And then that's what we were able to pay our 42 staff members and sustain the business. But clearly, we need to change this model. And as you mentioned, the marketing strategy, we expect to look at all of that very, very carefully.
That's right. Professor
in our evaluation
Gobin,
of the business of the...
Professor Gobin, I want to continue this conversation with you at another time, but we do have to stick a pin in it there. I want to thank you so much for your time this morning, and we do hope to get some updates about the Wright Nature Center and the Eco Lodge in the near future as well. But I want to thank you so much for your time this morning, Professor.
So, thank you very much, Carrie.